Exactly.
That's the
Exactly.
reason why we're doing the traveling piece, and that's really the whole reason why I created Melanated in America, to tell our story and to have these conversations. And one of the big projects that we're going to do in New Orleans going back is a bridge exhibition and conversation between there and here, so Chicago and New Orleans, and diving into the history and the similarities and what's going on politically. So,
Right.
but it was an amazing trip. I mean, we definitely had fun too, but so much information, so much knowledge, so many resources, so many connections. It was
That
amazing.
makes me super excited. New Orleans is definitely, I haven't been yet, so it's definitely on my list. And Robert and I were trying to go last year for our anniversary for like a little quick trip for a couple days, and then the pandemic happened, so it was just like, yeah, I guess we're not gonna do
Oh,
that.
girl, let
But
me know. I'm gonna send you the list. All the places you need to be, all the black spots, all the museums.
yes, it's so much
Yes.
that I want to do there, so that's definitely on our
And
list.
it's way more than Bourbon Street. Okay, because we
Indeed.
don't do that tourist stuff. We was in the
It's like
trenches
in the
with
churches.
people.
Yes.
Okay,
I love
with
it
the
though.
people.
Well, since we live, we lost Russia. Hopefully he gonna come back. Russia,
Yeah.
bring your butt back. I know you see that we live, so you better get back in here. Cause you can't just slide out. I know we was having a deep conversation, but you was supposed to slide in the conversation, not slide off the live. But I'm super excited. Oh my god, yes, it is officially 1 year today that Oh We Gonna Talk was launched. And I am filled with so much emotion today. So much emotion. And one of them is just gratitude because I can't believe that it's been a year. It's like, wow, we really, really made it a year. So I'm hoping everybody come on in. We're gonna be recapping some of the stories, some of the conversations that we've had over this year, and really just see, what impact you guys or those shows or those conversations had on people that watch or people that's come. So we have some of our mainstays that come in and as guests slash, because I almost feel like they also co-host too when they because they come
Absolutely,
especially like
absolutely. Our old faithfuls,
right,
you know.
our old faithful. So we should be having a couple of them slide in and just talk about some of their favorite conversations and their takeaways from the year, and then talk about things to come for Are We Gonna Talk, because I'm like, well, hell, I've made it this far. We done made it
You
this
didn't done did it, sis. It had been done did. Okay. Yes, I want to say I'm proud of you.
far. Well,
Before we hop too far into this show, I want to say I'm proud of you because you stepped out of your comfort zone. And that's the thing a lot of people don't do. It's one thing to do something that, does not challenge you as much or something that doesn't scare you. But to do it afraid is a whole nother level of accomplishment. And since you did it afraid, but you did it, and then look at you a year later and the people that you've impacted, the connections you've made, like the conversations you had, the issues you've tackled, the people that you've helped that you know you helped, and the people that you've helped that you don't know you've helped, and then the network that you now have from creating something that was important to you, that's important to other people, and you did it afraid. So I just want to say congratulations to you for doing it, for stepping out of that comfort zone, and shout out to Mr. Producer.
absolutely,
Push and making sure
absolutely.
you did it afraid. He held your hand as you was doing it afraid.
Look,
So
hand on
the
my
whole
hand,
team.
kick me in the butt sometimes. And it's so funny that I'm usually that person. Like, if you don't get out there and do this, I believe in you. Like, we gonna make this happen. What you need me to do? How can I help you? How can I support you?
It's
But when
different.
it, yeah, but when it was me, I can say one of the biggest deterrents for me at first was feeling like I wasn't worthy enough to have the
Mm.
conversation. Feeling like, man, I know I may have some paper, some degrees. I know that I've been working in the community, like I've been working in the community since I've been working. So it's like I'm working in the communities in which I speak of and that I want to help and service. So I have tons of experience. I'm a mom and I'm actively breaking generational curses with my children. But I still felt
Hold on, don't brush past that.
unworthy.
Don't brush past that though. Actively working
Actively working. I was
to
actually
be a
talking
better
to
human
about
being.
that.
That's amazing. That's a feat
Absolutely.
within itself.
Yeah,
Congratulations on that as well.
and not even just for the kids, but I'm breaking some of the generational curses between me and my parents, and for myself, so that I can heal and grow and be a better Sante, a better person, a better wife, a better mother, a better daughter, a better friend, a better advocate, a better all of these many hats that I wear. Breaking those generational curses also improved me. But I still felt not worthy. It was like every time I would talk to Robert about it, be like, "What do you think of this?" And he was like, "Yeah, you need to do it. Like, what's going on?" I'm like, "Well, let me look at some programs first to see if I can get this certificate or this degree, or let me look at this doctorate program, because maybe if I'm a doctor and I got that DR or that PsyD on the name, I'll be respected and people will want to listen to me more and hear me more." And then,
But that's a generational curse.
it is. It is. But, people always be like, now, sis, the first thing people would be like is, you ain't no doctor. You
That's
ain't no.
called hating.
So it's like, I don't want to hear that.
That's called hating.
It is. It can be. It absolutely can be. So I just didn't feel worthy enough, and it took for Robert one day to be like, I don't understand not being worthy, because don't you do this every day already when you talking to your friends and they coming to you for advice, and you're stepping in and giving people some words of encouragement, and you kind of tell
You
them
already got 15 degrees.
not quite 15.
Embellishing a bit, but it's a lot.
Not quite. Well, I got a few pieces of paper. I got a few, but not quite.
You do.
But I
And
also
even if you didn't have those pieces of paper, I think this is a point for reinforcement for ourselves, but then also for everyone who's out there watching. Just do it. Literally like Nike. Just do it, because we're gonna always find an excuse not to do it. It's never gonna be the right time to do it. We're gonna always want to do something else or have something else, or maybe if I learn something else. Just do it and build that plane while you flying it. Add on to it. If you get started and make it a routine and a habit, you can keep adding on it. It can keep getting better. Season 2 will be better than season 1, and just keep going and do it. And you'll build your following, you'll build your base, and then you never know where that can go. When I look at successful people's stories, like I listened to Steve Harvey's story, he had a heck of a story, man. But a lot of different Tahaji, like so many different actors and actresses and people in other industries. I can't remember the actual name of the gentleman, but the one Will Smith played in Pursuit of Happiness. It's the relentlessness of, okay, I ain't got all this right now, but I know that this is what I want to do, and regardless, I'm gonna do it. And even when it's not working out, because sometimes it's not gonna work out, y'all. So I say, look at me. Sometimes it's not gonna work out the way you want it.
I hear you, and I think that was one of the hardest things to let go of, is like you have this image in your mind of how you expect for it to go and what you think it should be, and sometimes letting that go, and still doing it scared, doing it frustrated, doing it anyway, is super important. Like that, if I have to say that I'm most proud of any part of this year, it's that, because there were so many times where I was just like, Robert, I don't know. Where I was telling my brother, like, I don't know. Where I was telling you, like, I don't know. Where I was telling, people in my close circle, like, I don't know. And it took for people to say, like, I don't know what it is that you don't know. Like, you're helping me. Every time I felt discouraged, I would get that one inbox, that one call, or that one, text message where it will be like, what do you mean? That show touched me. Like, I learned this and I learned that. One of the things one of my aunties told me she's learning from me. It's like, wait, what? What's he me? So, having those times absolutely helped me to push through, and my goal was to go nonstop for this year without a break, because I knew if I can get past the first year, then I can keep going. And I had to keep telling myself. So outside of that time or two where it was like, I'm sick, or there were things going on family wise, for help, family emergencies, etc., I was like, man, I can't take a break. I got to keep going, because if I can get to the year mark, then I've made it. I've done something, and now I won't stop, because I know me, and I'm not a quitter. And once I really start, I'm not going to stop. And it was like, hell, a year of investing in buying platforms, buying certain things
and learning.
and learning. It was like, I can't walk away from it. This is, it's an inspiration for a reason. It's something I love. Like, when I say that every day, the reinforcement of this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Every day is a reminder that this is exactly what I'm meant to do. This is what I was created for. I'm the messenger, and I have a job to do. I have a purpose. And so, you don't give up on your purpose, especially because, when you fulfill your purpose, everything else will come. So I just have to keep telling myself that. And I want to thank you, Natalie, because, I came to you, sis, and was like, okay, my co-host needed to step away. She was in her doctoral program, so she needed to, hyper focus on those things. And so, Punk, I'm proud of her for as far as she's come. And so I was just like, hey, Nat, I'm just looking to get like some guest co-hosts to come on until, I get a permanent co-host. And having you be like, oh, you found your permanent co-host. Sis, you don't have to look no further. It's me. It was just like, oh,
I got you.
I was like, are you sure? I was like, I don't have anything.
And you know what? That was spirit reaction for real. And sometimes, because I just go with what I'm being told sometimes. Sometimes it's immediate. And you asked, and I read the text message, and I was like, okay. And afterwards, I was
a few weeks, and it was like, okay, I don't want to ask her this, but I enjoy her when she's on. I felt like we had good chemistry. It was like, but if she could just co-host, I know you have all of those things that you're doing. You got the Healing Academy, you got Melanated America, you've got you got the Breathe Experience, you've got Free Your Mind Fridays. I was like, this girl is
a mother's love. Well, at the time, mother's love hadn't even started yet.
Listen, I said, now, I don't want to say, are you sure? Because you got a lot happening. And you was like, nope, I can do it. And you have showed up every single Wednesday, no matter what, getting off of one live, jumping on another. So thank you for, hearing the call and answering it to support your sister. And it's just amazing, because I'm like, it doesn't feel like it's only been barely, like, less than a year that we've met each other. It feels like I've known you all my life. So it had to be in another lifetime.
When you find your tribe, it feels like that, because we're going to find each other regardless. Sometimes it happens in different ways. Sometimes it happens virtually, but we're going to find our tribe. And when we find each other, it's synchronicity. But I had to be a part of this, like the topics and the conversations. It's what I'm about. It's what I'm about. And so for you to get it started, I was happy to help. and because it's in alignment with what our people needs and the healing that's so important to our elevation and evolution.
I couldn't agree more. And before we hop into some of our favorite topics of discussion over this year, I cannot hop into it without sending some special thank yous to some very important people. And
Hold
first
on,
and
let me get my tambourine ready. Go ahead.
foremost, my sister from another Mr. Kawana. I love you, sis. I hope you watch this. I'm gonna try and get through this without getting emotional because secretly I'm straight up a crybaby. A lot of people don't know that, but yes, I cry. Shut up, Russia. We don't need your
Right over
comment.
there, like,
We don't need it. But I just remember approaching her about a dream, and she was just like, I don't know why you asked me, but I love you, and if you said you need me to do this with you, I'm gonna ride with you. And I could not have taken that leap without her support, without her believing in the mission and just being willing to be along for the ride while I figured it out and why, it got up and running. And just, I know she had her plate full with so many things she was doing. So the fact that she did that for me, I love you so much, Kawana. I could not be to this year without you. You are super dope. You are amazing. I need the world to hear that this my sister's amazing. She's an amazing person, and she's just always has tried to be there for me. Even when I called and was like, "Hey sis, you gonna sing when I walk down the aisle?" She sung for me when I walked down the aisle to Mary Roberts. So thanks sis for being there. And of course, a very important special thanks to Mr. Producer, as we be calling him,
yes.
because even before all of that, I brought this idea. We was having pillow talk in bed, and I said, "This has been on my heart, and I want to do it." And he was like, "Do it." And I was like, "I don't know where to get started." And he said, "Well, you could figure that out, but you should do it. Just make up your mind you gonna do it." I said, "You're right. You're right." Months passed by. Whatever happened to your idea? Yeah, so I was thinking so and so, so and so. So you gonna do it? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And it was literally like almost 2 years later of me like, hey, he'll come home. I'd be like, hey, I was thinking of this idea for a show. And this came up today. I'm like, this is a generational curse. We need to talk about this. And it took for this man to decide, like, you know what? Let me just get her something because he know his wife. And, I was not going to let his investment go to waste. So he was just like,
Like,
hey,
once you put money in, is the thing.
here you go. Now stop talking about it and do it. And that was like a really, really, really huge push. When I've been complaining about different things, he's like, we're going to figure it out. He makes sure everything is set up every Wednesday so I can focus on all the other things that I'm doing before I can hop on here at 8 o'clock. He's my confidant. He is my cheerleader. He is my boo, my man. He's been a guest on here so many times. He lets me put all our business out in the street, put it all out in the street for the name of support. So I could not have even gotten started, be here today if not for my partner in crime, my partner in life, my love, Mr. Producer, Robert Tate. So thank you, baby, for all you do for Oh We Gon' Talk. And just a big thank you to everybody that show up every Wednesday. We got some True Blues Taylor on here.
Yes,
I see Taylor on here who comes. Even if she can't watch it live, she always goes and rewatch it. I got my cousin Renee that pops on here. I got so many people that show up every single week. It doesn't matter what's going on. You're going to show up for Oh We Gon' Talk. Thank y'all so much for that. Like, y'all just don't know how much I appreciate all the support. I want to give a shout out to Gino, who calls me every Tuesday.
Gino. Yes, Gino.
Mr. Gino, who calls me every Tuesday and reminds me I better not quit when I'm struggling and I'm in my head about things. Thank you so much, Gino, for that. And just continuing to push and support. Thank everybody that's ever reached out and told me that this show was impactful for them and that it meant something to them. Thank you so much for that. Oh, here go Dre.
Hey.
Nah, you had Dre, our unofficial, official / unofficial co-host.
Hey, welcome, Dre.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. How y'all doing?
We good. We good. You just in time. Thanks for joining us. Y'all know Dre. He like a regular on here. You might as well be also a co-host,
right?
No, I don't want that responsibility.
Unofficial.
I don't want that responsibility.
You're honorary co-host.
I'll be honorary.
Came on so many times, you technically
you're an honorary co-host. Like you part of it. And then we got Rush, who done been on here.
Right.
Who's honorary?
Rush is also
Rush. You better fix your face. Fix your face.
Is it frozen or are you frozen?
Is he frozen? He's looking. No, he's shooting. So okay.
Is it you or the internet? I'm not gonna.
No, he's not frozen. That's just his face. He cutting up today. He been cutting up all day.
Early. And he says yes. He's shaking his head. Yes.
He knows he's been acting up all day. Rush,
he knows himself. At least he knows himself.
He knows himself. He does. Over there chewing and eating, ain't offer nobody none, virtually or nothing. Just yeah. I don't want that. No, thank you.
Is that a ring pop, my dude? Where did you find the ring pops to be sitting here eating the ring pop?
Oh wait, hold on. I got a whole box of them, sis.
Where's y'all getting ring pops from? Did y'all go back to the candy store on like State Street? Where's y'all? I didn't know ring pops.
Damn, girl. These was at Sam's Club. These were so I bought these boxes because we had through Naraya graduation day parade that got rained on. It literally rained on my baby. Man. It literally rained on my baby's parade, her graduation parade. It was like a torrential monsoon outside. So we just got all of this candy that I really need to hide because I'm noticing more and more pieces keep leaving out of the box.
Oh yeah, until it's like 1.5 left in there.
So I need to stow it away someplace safe. Because
it's a candy stash. It does its purpose.
No, they're not supposed to be having the candy stash anytime. That's for
I don't
me.
eat candy no more. So I be forgetting what's out here in these streets.
Oh,
God. Yeah, she's alkaline vegan.
So
listen, this weekend in New Orleans, I was regular vegan.
What's up, Dre?
So I finally met Natalie.
I know.
And she's actually tall.
I'm pretty tall.
She's surprisingly tall. I expected someone a little more like small, but like strong and firm looking. And she was tall and strong and firm looking. I was like, oh, she's pretty damn tall.
Well, that ain't my ministry. I'm just letting you know now. When you see me, I'm gonna look like a straight little. I'm gonna look like a hobbit. No, I'm gonna be a hobbit.
A what?
A hobbit.
A hobbit.
Mm-hmm.
A hobbit.
A hobbit.
You said a hot bear for a second. I'm like, what, sus? What are
we
talking about?
A hobbit.
I met Russia in person, but Russia didn't see me outside the car. I'm straight 5'3". That's it.
You about 5'3", sus?
I am 5'3". Ain't no I'm about. I am 5'3".
You exactly 5'3", sus?
I'm exactly 5'3". And if you see me next to Robert, who is over 6 feet tall, you know, it's like I'll be wanting to hold his hand when we crossing the street and stuff.
I think you're a child.
Look. And most of
he hasn't been down to kiss you on the wedding day.
Look, Robert said he would have never guessed that Nat was tall.
She was sitting down.
I think it's because my energy is so bubbly, and y'all do always see me seated. You know, I get the kid vibe. Even like when people look at me, Dion knows me very well and sees me often, and she just be like, "You're just 12 years old, sis." I got a 12-year-old energy, is all. I'm a have
like, she got up. I was like, yeah, she's pretty tall. Okay.
That was probably surprising because I was sitting on the ground when he first walked up, and then I stood up.
See, well, you have 12-year-old energy. I have 12-year-old height because my child, my oldest, is my height. Naraya is my height. So when I be out with her, and ever so often she feel a little froggy, and I be like, "Oh, okay. Wait, what's accurate?" He said, "I think that's accurate." What, did I look like a hobbit?
No, probably 12-year-old energy.
Hold on.
She was like, wait a second, you gotta clarify.
No, because he talks about my height. He has this thing where he likes to put his chin on the top of my head. And he just rests there, and he, you know, he loves that. I think when he's mad at me and he want to get back at me, he push it up high on the top shelf. So I have to speak to him to ask him to get it. So it'd be like,
that's your thing. That's beautiful though. And Taylor talking about I got that runway high. See, he was talking about my energy, not that you were high. Okay, I got 12-year-old energy. I'm high energy. Y'all gonna tip people off. I am not 6 feet tall or nothing out here. I'm like,
but you ain't 5'3",
5'7", 5'8"ish. You
that's yeah. So I'm gonna be like, hey girl, because we haven't officially met in person.
No, we have not, but it's coming soon.
Drake. Oh yeah, we gotta get soon. That has to happen ASAP. But let's get into this conversation, y'all, about some of y'all favorite topics. Now, Nat and Rush came for the first time on our dating talk.
Oh,
yeah.
The first time that Nat and Russia came on, we gonna talk.
And a year later,
we still talking about these dating advice. Okay, we're trying to help the masses out here with these dating advice. I think, was it horror stories? Was it like the stories of being single? The first one that I came on,
it was like the trials of, you know, dating and how it's a generational curse, because one of the things that I think the ladies were saying a lot on that show was that men don't date the same way anymore. So there's no chivalry, there's no type of like gentleman qualities, like which is
split the bill.
You know, they won't split we going Dutch and just
pulling out Nan chair, opening Nan dope.
None of that.
Now don't get me wrong, y'all. I'm not gonna act like those type of men don't exist. But the fact that I have to question if you pulling the chair out for me or you means that every man ain't out here doing it.
if you have to question that before, like during the date, that's he should be able to establish that by his actions upon meeting you. You know what I'm saying? If you have to actually question that, he has to be like, oh yeah, nah.
No, the question part is that so many men are not opening doors and pulling out chairs that when he pulls out the chair, you gotta wait a second to see if he sit in it or not.
Oh dang!
Be like, oh, that one was for me. Look at you pulling that
chair. If that's the case, I would sit down and kick his chair from under the chair. He's trying to sit down. That's terrible, but yeah, I'm petty sometimes, just a little bit. I could be Petty Murphy a little bit sometimes.
But there are some amazing gentlemen out here, y'all. So don't lose hope. If y'all have seen any of the dating shows, don't lose hope. There's some amazing men out
we got some two amazing gentlemen on this call. Mm-hmm. Even though Rush should be giving me a headache,
but he's amazing in his own way.
Yeah. He's amazing in his own way, even though he likes to keep up trouble. It's good trouble, though. It's good trouble.
With that behavior.
Look at the face. Is he frozen again? You frozen again, Rush?
He's so frozen.
He's looking really like.
Which is
because I know that Rush and Dre out here pulling out chairs and opening doors. Okay,
all the time.
When women give me a chance to.
You say what? If they don't beat you to the door?
A chance to.
When they give you a chance to, why do you say that?
You do got them women that don't like chivalry, and I don't like that.
That's
word?
You got some women that's like, I don't need you to hold it over me. Hold on, sis. Wait.
Wow.
Hold on, sis. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
That's trauma, honey.
That's the reality out here that people act like that, and I'm like, we need to get to come on. Oh, we gonna talk about it because we need to get to the source of this issue. We do need men to do that.
I don't like flowers. I get a lot of.
Look at Trey.
You know,
that's the thing, Trey.
You can't even pull their chair out. By the time you go to reach for it, she already done did it already. You're like, all right.
Oh wow.
Now, as long as she ain't pulling his chair out, I'm okay. Because then we're gonna have to talk. That's also like these proposals out here. Now, I mean, if y'all propose to y'all man, don't take offense to this, ladies. If that was you, don't take offense. This is just all my opinion. But it ain't gonna be me. I tell you that. Getting down on
Yeah.
one knee. If he
I
don't
was-
know he want to marry me, then we don't need to be married. Okay, appreciate you. Thank you so much for
I
your
would be
time.
so disgusted
But
if a
What
woman
you
But-
say,
proposed to me.
Tasha?
I
What
said
you-
I would be so disgusted if a woman proposed to me. I would just be disgusted.
let that man be a man. Can that be a thing that we say we did because we did it? Like, let that man be a man.
And
I'm letting
and
y'all
not
know right now.
outside of even
if-
just
no.
that. He said,
What you say?
No,
he said he
Okay.
letting them know right now. I outside of just letting a man be a man, I feel like it's again like this control, and I get it. And it's like, you know, if I have to wait for him to do it, that's a problem. But if you have to ask him if he wants to do it, then he's
Then that's not the one for you.
to do it. And so, you know, I'm all for those setting boundaries on how much time you're going to invest in something before that person is ready. Like that is a whole different, you know, entity. That's like, hey, listen, I love you. I want to be with you. And this is how much time I have in allowing you to figure out what you want. Because that's the one thing we spend, we can't get back. Like we can make more money. We can, you know, get another job. We can get another date. We can get another boyfriend or girlfriend or significant other, but we don't get time back. Once we use it, that's it. That's all we got. So
And people be wasting decades waiting on people to change to
They
realize
do.
they never will. And that's the thing too, as in relationships, you can't change nobody. You can inspire sometimes, you help, you know, push sometimes, but they got to come with a certain amount of energy. And that's something I had to realize myself, because I'm a helper. So I'm like, whatever you want to do, let's go. What you need me to do? You need me to research what you need me to do? I mean, let's get it. If you trying to do something, because I'm a mover. So if you let me help you move too. But you can't help somebody to move that's standing in one place. You can't be literally pushing them down the street.
You can't force somebody into doing something that they don't want to do either. And you definitely have to really set boundaries for yourself and that person and for your time. Like, listen, I want this. I hope
I'm
you
reclaiming
want
my
this.
time.
But
Reclaiming
right.
my time.
But after this point, if we're still not there yet, then you know, I need to roll on. I need to move ahead. And that's
We also
it.
have to normalize that being okay. I think a lot of people get so tied to people so quickly, even if it's like a couple weeks of talking to somebody. They like, but I know you don't. No, you don't. And it doesn't have to be upsetting. It doesn't have to be angry. And it's just, it was good getting to know you, but this isn't working. So thank you so much. We can still be friends or whatever you want it to be, but it doesn't have to be you wasting your time in a situation that you know isn't for you, for the sake of hurting somebody's feelings or not, for the sake of just waiting to see or not. Because if it's meant to be, it's gonna happen. And if somebody wants you, they're gonna make it known that they want you. And if they don't, they're gonna make that known too.
They gonna, and you believe them when they say it. Like one of the things that was super important with my brother, for me to know growing up, because he used to have these very open, very blunt and direct conversations with me from a man's perspective. And his biggest thing was like, if a guy tells you what his intentions are, take him at his word. You're not going to change his mind. And sometimes that ain't even about you. But don't waste your time on trying to change his mind. A man is going to know what his intentions are. He's going to declare them if he's serious. And that's what you need to look for. You need to look for the declaration, not listen, but look for it. He's going to move a particular way. So he was like a stickler about that. Like if he were to hear that I was accepting something less, I was gonna have to hear it from him, because he was like, that ain't how I raised you. Like, you know better than
I
that.
was gonna talk about it.
Listen, you ain't gonna change his mind. And it's okay, because like we've said before, you could be a good man or a good woman, but that don't necessarily mean I'm your good woman or you're my good man.
That part. Now I was just ask what Drake was thinking about, because he was over there deep thought, had the chin stroke on the beard and everything.
I'm thinking about all my ex. I'm thinking about all my related exes and situations. Like, yeah, makes sense.
It's about accurate. But I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, we have to understand that there are so many people in this world. I think the issue comes in when we get tired of being alone, or we get tired of waiting for the right person. So we start settling for stuff we shouldn't be settling for. That's when those non-negotiables and those boundaries kick in, and not taking stuff personally. If we're not meant to be together, that's okay. We got to know each other. We might have learned some things, and then we're gonna move around, and it's okay, because I'm not wasting my time with anyone anymore. That's not the one that's for me, because I know my non-negotiables now. And if you ain't meeting them, it don't mean you trash as a person. It just means you're not my person. You can be amazing for someone else. Let's not waste each other's time being wrong for each other when you can go find the one that's right for you.
Facts. And we're gonna have a whole show still to come about negotiables and non-negotiables, and really having the line and realism and what that looks like for interaction with one another, because that's a really important thing that Russia and I were debating about earlier today. As a matter of fact, about having a realistic expectation of
Fix
being in
your
a relationship and dating, etc. I'm gonna need you to, like, I don't know what's wrong with the face. If we need to spray some WD-40 on it and loosen it up a little bit.
He need that tape that people be pulling up skin with.
And what's on your mind, Mr. Russia?
What's going on?
You've been harassing me all day. That's what
It's the opposite, actually.
You've been traumatized, okay? You've been traumatized, my brother.
Yo, we've been
You've been
arguing and
harassing.
debating about.
Hold on, don't be like that white woman. Y'all seen that new white woman?
Oh, don't go there. Don't go there.
Don't
Don't
go
go
there.
there. Don't go there.
Because I
Listen.
got so many feelings about that.
Baby, don't be crying wolf out
I got
you.
so many so many things to say about that.
I'm triggered.
Yes, we're definitely gonna have that discussion. Well, I guess because we now my brother like have that discussion, because it's not very feasible, this list. And so me and Russia were debating earlier, because as you know, we were talking about it briefly last week.
Earlier, we've been debating for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks.
Been a minute.
This show
It's been a minute.
about sex life.
It's been 2 weeks. I'm
It's
tired,
been a
y'all.
minute.
I'm tired. Dre, have you seen the Netflix series Sex Life?
No.
Okay. Nat, have you watched it yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
What's
Okay.
it about?
I'm going to. I just haven't had the time to sit down
Russia,
and watch.
please let me say what it's about, because
No, because you've been trying to twist it and
Lord,
spin it.
just read the
You've
synopsis,
been
y'all, on
trying to
Netflix.
twist
Go
it and
pull it up.
spin it.
Read the
Russia
synopsis.
go, he
No.
got to
They
go
biased.
in.
No,
Please
you
don't
be
ask
trying to
him.
twist it and spin it.
No, I'm not. I'm not gonna twist it and spin it.
What is the log line of the show?
So the show it follows or it chronicles a woman who is married, a wife, and she starts off journaling about her past ex and her past sexual experiences. And she starts journaling originally because she feels unattended to by her mate, by her husband. So her husband, for the most part, from all appearances, is the perfect husband. He's very successful, career-wise, professionally-wise. He's a great father. He's a great provider. He seems to be like such an amazing man. And yet she's still not happy, because part of the reason is he stopped attending to her sexually.
That'll do it.
And he
that'll do it.
stopped attending to her emotionally and spiritually. And what happens is she starts off just fantasizing about her ex. He finds it, he reads it, and so, that kind of like catapults them into this crazy situation that happens throughout the show. She doesn't actually end up sleeping with the ex, but she does very dangerously teeter on the line of doing things that she shouldn't do. But so does the husband.
So y'all go watch
the
this show, because
What
this
did I
needs to be
tell
the
you?
whole episode,
Because
because
he
they've
did
been on
sleep with
and on.
him on the last episode.
Don't tell the people what the show about.
First of all, we don't know if she slept with him or not at the last episode.
Yes, we do.
We don't.
Excuse
We
me.
don't see it.
Don't be spoiling the show for people. Let them go watch it.
Girl, we told
It's
you this
a
2 weeks ago.
And yes,
it's a really incredible show. Every single person that I've had watch this show, I've been talking about this show nonstop for 2 weeks. Across all of my friends that I've had refer to this show. But it is a discussion that I would like to have on the show, because it does also bring up something super important that I'm also very passionate about, that is also a generational curse when it comes to expectations and what it means to be a woman, and how society says this is what it means to be a proper lady, and this is what you should want, and this is what you should need. And I think it opens up a really important conversation about when that's not enough, how to feel about it.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Go
She
ahead.
wasn't obsessing about the emotional support that her ex was giving her. She was obsessing about the adventurous sex they were having.
She was obsessing about the way the adventurous sex and the way he made her feel.
He wasn't giving her no emotional support. That's
All
how
kinds
they
of
were
spoilers.
having
Thank you,
it.
That was
Robert.
the
I'm
problem.
like, let
That was
the
the
people watch
problem.
the
If he
show.
wasn't giving her the emotional support that she needed, okay, we gonna shut up. We
Listen,
want
because
y'all
they
to watch
tweeted about
this
this show, y'all. It's
show.
been weeks.
Lord.
I'm telling y'all. Go
My
watch
blood
the
pressure
show
going
and then
up
come back.
again.
We're gonna have to set a
Okay.
date for this so people
My
can
blood
watch.
pressure
going up
It's the
again.
viewing club. Okay.
So we're gonna, we're going to have a watch and share conversation about this show, and let's set it for 2 weeks from today. Okay,
We
so that
still also have to unpack.
You gotta have an equal amount of
Willowcraft
men
Country.
Yeah.
watching it, just because y'all gonna be doing that thing y'all do. So
I think, you know what? How about we do this? How about we do this? Okay. Because although the characters are not black, the theme in that is really big in our community, and it is a generational curse, especially when it comes to having healthy marriages. So I know we've had healthy marriage relationship talk, but it really does bring up a lot of different things that need to be talked about. That does very much hits on issues in marriage. And if you have been in a long-standing relationship, if you have been married, a lot of what goes on in this show is going to resonate in some way or another. So if you want, we can have you and Dre back. So you and Dre, well, you already seen it, Russia. Dre, you got homework.
I got homework too.
You got homework.
Okay.
From today.
All right. Hold on. When is this date again?
2 weeks from today. If that don't work for you, we can figure it out.
Hold on.
That's the
okay.
28.
So that's Wednesday.
28.
Yes.
All right. So here's the deal. I will be in New Orleans.
What?
I'll be in New Orleans, and depending on what time of day it is, I might be like out of my mind. So I don't know if I'm gonna be good for that.
So what about the 4th? Does the 4th work for you?
The 4th would be okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we have a tentative schedule
Yes.
for August the 4th.
Yes.
Oh, we gonna talk about sex life and how it pertains to generational curses. So everybody has homework. That gives y'all 3
I got homework. That gives me like umpteenth weeks to get this done, Here's
the thing. The show is intense, so you're gonna want to keep watching because
I'm a serial binge watcher.
I watched it in a day. I watched it in one day. All the whole thing in one day. So it's a very graphic show as well. So for some of our listeners who doesn't feel very comfortable with sex and nudity, you probably want to not watch this show because there's a ton of it in this show. So I'm giving that disclaimer, but it really did touch on some very important aspects that we need to talk about, and that also hints on some of expectations and non-negotiables, and really being aware of what you need in a relationship and what things you can do without and what things you can't.
And the importance of communication, from what I understand.
Yes, very much the importance of. Here's the thing: there was some communication.
She just started writing in the journal.
There was some communication. There was, but we gonna get there.
But also, real quick, when it comes to women and sexuality, and we had this show. Actually, this was one of our shows. Women are shamed out of expressing themselves sexually from a very early age. And
Yeah.
even as adult women, if you talk, especially when you look at how our elders were raised, that raised our mothers, that raised us, they didn't talk about sex, not even with their friends or family members or sisters or mothers. They didn't talk about sex. So like half of them was ill prepared going into it. Like it was a shame, shun thing. You don't have
Yeah.
sex, you don't do it, you keep your legs closed, you don't want to be no fast tail.
Or here's the thing, not even that you don't do it, it's for your husband and for your husband only.
And a
And
lot of women have problem with pleasure to this day. And a lot of women has never come in their adult grown ass life of having sex, have never had an orgasm.
never.
And they're okay with that.
Here's the thing. There's
That's
this
deep.
myth. There's this myth,
Check
and this
the
is what
stats.
I was
It's
saying.
a thing.
It's a thing. I was telling Russia this. I said there's this myth that women are a monolith, that they just fit in this one box. But we can be all of these things. But because we've all been conditioned as a society that that's not appropriate. And when you're a woman, you're supposed to only be this. A lot of us repress a lot of things that we're not and shouldn't be repressing. And then those of us that aren't necessarily repressing and do actually want to have good and healthy sex. You know, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to ruffle no feathers, but you know, this is gonna hit a little bit. So I'm already preparing myself for the log on it or the backlash on it. A lot of men are not even aware of how to please women. And so a lot of women don't enjoy sex because men don't have sex typically for women. They have sex typically for their own pleasure. And so they have no idea what women need sexually. They have no idea where women's, sexual spots are, their erotic zones. They have no idea whatsoever. And they watch things, primarily adult videos, etc., and they have no idea what they're doing. So when they're getting and feeling some sort of way about their women having tools or toys, and you know, she's more likely to go in that direction, you actually want to do a self-evaluation and see what can I do to improve, because most of the time you're not, pleasing your woman or your wife the way she needs. And sometimes we don't always feel liberated enough to talk about those things with our spouse.
Again, based on the way we were raised, a lot of women are kind of just told to go with the flow, especially when it comes to a man or their man, because a lot of times it's that fragile masculinity thing. If I say something, then will it break his ego? Would it be an issue? Will it make him feel less of a man? But I feel like we have to start taking that ownership role of our bodies, which is a thing, again, that's not really taught to women, that we own our bodies and our sexuality. What? Not a huge thing for us. So as a woman, to confidently say and tell a man what you need him to do when you need him to do it. And if he's not comfortable with that, then that's not the man you need to be with. Again, setting those non-negotiables and not settling for people that's not meant for you. If you know you like what you like, and that's a whole nother thing. A lot of women don't know what they like.
I was just about to say,
right.
I want to stop you so I can cut in, because we can't just put it all off on men now. A lot of women are
we
not
don't even
aware.
explore our own bodies to know what to do.
I need this. Okay, I need women to explore their bodies. You need to explore your body.
It's okay.
If you cannot expect and put expectations on him if you don't know thyself, you must know thyself. It's healthy. It's okay. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. You absolutely should explore your body and figure out what it is that you need. And then you need to be in a relationship where that can be expressed to that person. But a lot of people think that women just wire different and they're not sexual beings. That's a lie. That's a lie. She's not seeing the gratification in being sexual. It doesn't make her feel good to be sexual. It feels like a chore to be sexual. And so you need to get to the root of that and dig deeper into that.
Go ahead. You unlock that box, baby.
Yeah, I don't have a Zoom hand, but I was gonna just comment that Robert said that delivery can also be a thing, and that's pretty much what it is. It's not pretty much. I think it's the delivery, because I mean, you can't get around certain things. I understand that, but And a man's ego when it comes to the bedroom is it's more fragile than a woman's, I think. I think personally.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's about the delivery, but also I'm thinking to myself now, if I say something to my girl, or about something sexually, I want, because I'm being very transparent. I am so much of a gentleman to a fault that I don't relate everything. It's hard to get over that edge because you don't want to seem like a creep. I don't want to seem. I don't want to seem like a creep because I have such a positive public image or whatever. I don't know how to. What's the word? Open up without necessarily being like, cause they think, they probably think like, oh, he's like so much of a nice guy. He don't like to spank you or whatever. And I do, but
listen, look, Russia, didn't we talk about this?
No, I think for me, it goes back to communication and keeping it 100. Because you never know what someone else is interested in or open to unless you have that conversation. And that's also how you can tell if that person is aligned with you and need to be with you or not. So I mean, wait till you feel like you have vetted the person enough and you comfortable enough. But I think that needs to be a sit down conversation, in my personal opinion, because I'm a very open person. When I'm in a relationship with you, you're gonna know it. You're gonna know all of it. Okay. We're gonna talk about it. And I'm gonna encourage you to do the same. If it's something you need to do or would like to, you talk to me and we're gonna see how it works. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, figure it out. And I've always said that from forever. As long as I can remember talking about relationships, I've said the same thing. Keep it 100 and give me an option, and you'll be surprised.
So yeah, but it's such a give and take. It's like, it's so I'm just nervous about stepping outside that box.
That's just me. You want to make sure that you're with people that you're having these conversations with people that you trust, because I also don't have these conversations with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm at that level with you, we're going to have a sit down conversation, and I'm going to encourage you to open, because I'm going to encourage myself to open, and we're going to talk about what it is we're looking for in this realm. And this one right here is sex, because that's a very important part of a relationship. Because from what I hear of the show, it's about in a relationship, we gonna have sex, so we have to be equally yoked sexually. If you just like missionary and I like the Kama Sutra, we gonna have a problem. I'm not gonna be satisfied.
But even if you're not necessarily equally yoked, that person has to be willing to explore and try to meet your needs. And be comfortable with that, because you may not meet somebody.
Sex life today.
And it's so many tools though. Like it's YouTube videos, and I'm not talking about just porn, but like there's tutorial classes you can take. Like if you really serious about it, even if you're in a relationship and been in a relationship with somebody for years, and y'all might be listening to this conversation, you might turn and look at babe like, hey babe, are you satisfied? Ask your woman if she's satisfied. I don't know if she's gonna want to.
Wait.
I don't know.
Hold on now. Ask your woman if she's satisfied with care. Okay, we don't want to encourage any of our viewers here to get into. Maybe that's a question they don't need to ask until they're actually prepared to get an answer.
Oh, be ready, right? Don't
be ready. Be open and ask her if she's satisfied, because a lot of women
fix it. Because if you're not, then you shouldn't want that to continue. And I feel like if I was a man, I will, and I know I'm a woman. I clearly know that. Clearly know that. I hope you do as well. But I feel like I would want my person to. But I think it's also the type of person you are. I know I'm switching what I'm saying a lot because I'm thinking as I'm saying it. I think it also really depends on what type of person you are. Like Dre just said, he's a really gentle person. He's like, I'm a gentleman, but I like what I like. And that's totally okay. That's totally okay. Some people are givers and some people are receivers when it comes to sex in general. Some people don't care about what the other person is receiving, and that's a selfish person. And you need to know that before you get into a committed relationship with somebody, what type of giver or receiver they are in the bedroom and just in general, because that rolls over into their life. But I mean, it does. And that makes a big difference in a long lasting standing of your relationship if that's a selfish person and you're not going to be fulfilled in life or in the bedroom. We don't want those problems. But if I was a man, I would want to know, like, what do you need? And it actually, when y'all ready to have that conversation, if y'all ever ready to have it, it can be very sexy. It don't have to be I'm missing these points. Show me. If you're not satisfied, show me. Show me what you want. Y'all can get real fun and creative with that thing. Okay?
No,
that thing step by step. Okay.
So here's the thing. I feel like you can't show them until you know. So women really have to know what does it for them. You have to know what you need, or else it's unfair for you to ask somebody else to, and it's unfair to sum up that person's abilities on pleasing you if you don't even know what you like. So you don't even know what pleases you and what doesn't. And I think that that's super important. Women aren't given the permission to figure out what they like. Women are told sex is not supposed to be for them, but sex is healthy. It is healthy, and we need to absolutely look at it like that. We need to look at it that it's healthy
in a lot of different ways.
It's healthy in so many ways.
It's physically, spiritually, energetically.
But also, if you are in a committed relationship, that connection is super important. You need to keep that connection with one another, and sex absolutely does that. It's so much easier to hold resentment, to hold grudges, to be angry at your mate if y'all not, getting in tune again, because there's energy that's transferred when you're having sex with each other. So you absolutely need to stay connected. Sex is connection. There's a reason that we have it. It's a reason that it feels good. At least it's supposed to. So if it's not feeling good, something ain't right, and you need to figure out why it is. But a lot of women don't feel good when they have sex. Yeah, they don't know. They don't feel good when they have sex, so it becomes a chore for them. It becomes something that isn't pleasurable. It's something they don't want to do. And so it's super important that ask questions. If you noticing that, your woman isn't, it's been a minute. I've heard spouses say that they've gone, I've heard wives in particular say they've gone months and months without it. Now, that ain't my ministry, because a few days I'm turning shit over in the house. Like, I just look, I'm dropping stuff. I'm more clumsy. I got an attitude. I'm ticky. I'm just, So we absolutely need to have healthy communication about sex, and we need to be connected to each other. We need to not be shamed as women about it and needing it and wanting it. And we need to be in communication with whomever we're having sex with about what our needs look like and how we get there, because that seems to be a real issue, which we're not going to talk about the show, but that's one of the things that comes up in the show, is really understanding what I'm asking for. Like, I'm asking for something very specific, but I'm not getting that very specific thing, and being realistic, which is also a sure point on if you're able to provide that for that person. I think that's super important too, which is why you keep going back to the evenly yoked part. Nat, is that sometimes people may not be able to provide you with what you need and what you're looking for, and that's okay too. Then y'all need to
learn it early, not like 20 years in the marriage.
Not 20 years into the marriage, facts. But we have so many other topics that we talked about over this year. So let's start with Russia, because he be sitting there with this little resting face. What was one of your favorite topics that you recall, whether you were part of that discussion or not, Russia?
I can't stand him.
I don't like him. I don't like him.
I don't know.
Because what he really want to talk about is sex life, because
we just talked about it for 10 minutes.
That was a previous show that we had on Oh We Gonna Talk, when we talked about women's sexuality. You might have missed that episode. But we had that conversation previously.
He just want to talk about it. I'm not going to deal with him. I've been
Dre, what was your favorite?
For real. Dre, what was one of your most memorable Oh We Gonna Talk conversations?
I think, my conversations were with you guys with you, Julie, around talking about relationships, dating, things of that nature. being vulnerable, men being vulnerable. I think every conversation that I've ever jumped in on has been beneficial and therapeutic in a lot of ways, just talking about stuff and listening. But I think anything that revolved around dating and letting and just letting a man express themselves without getting bit. This is actually like a decent. I would say this is a good safe space. A lot of times, men talk about not having safe spaces, or we talk about black men not having safe spaces to talk, unless they created themselves. And for this to be run by sisters, I think this is a safe space. Even though we might disagree or whatever the case may be, I will give you your props and say that this is definitely a safe space because I will look forward to listening, hearing people's feedback and talking and getting advice as well. So it's been some good conversation, I think, overall. But anything involving around dating, we talked about toxic masculinity at one point, what that is and why, and if it exists. We talked about all that good stuff. So it helps out a lot when you deal with other people and you start going back out. Because for what I think before, when we first started, I wasn't dating anybody. I wasn't trying to date anybody. I was trying to maybe see about people or whatever. Since then, I've been putting myself out there more, and now I feel like I don't think I'm ready. But but I see that in an adult concept of why. And
that's good.
Else.
That's a good thing.
But with that being said, I do like companionship. I do like doing things that involve having a companion, like cooking and having company and watching movies and certain things like that. Because I do have that, loneliness, but that's because I'm in the house by myself. I think the more we get out there, the more I'll be more social around my friends. That would kind of go away, But for now, I like that one-on-one, type situation. Some friends come over, hang out, watch a movie. I make food for them. I can't cook for Natalie because she.
I was just gonna say you got vegan eats.
I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to cook. Look, I cook some. The best thing I could do for you. The best thing I do for you is some grilled mushrooms and put some like seasoning and cheese on it, and go from there.
Take off some cheese. All the rest of that sound good.
Dre be cutting some pasta. Dre be cutting up over there. I be like, man, no invite. Like,
here we go.
Stuff on the grill was like. I mean, I'm supposed to be meeting you in person anyway. It's like, man,
can the plate be there when we meet?
Y'all just want me for my food. Why don't y'all make some?
Because even before I saw you cook, I was like, that's a dope brother right there. Like, all right, Dre.
Yeah, the plate was just an added bonus.
Yes. It just was an enhancement. It just made it so much more spectacular. Absolutely. But I want to talk about the first time that you came on, Dre, because that's a very important. We talked about toxic masculinity, and I remember you saying that you was nervous coming on it. You was like, man, I don't know, because this can go one or two ways. So to hear you say that it's a safe space, that is super impactful. I hope that more men feel safe to come on and have these conversations, because this isn't just from our perspective. And it's super important that we're hearing each other's perspective, because that's part of the healing process. We're never going to heal. We're never going to break these generational curses separately. We have to be on one accord to do it. And so having you say that it was a safe space amongst us, I'm super proud of that, because that is how every Black man should feel. And they should feel safe to talk to us women about things and vice versa. And one of the things I appreciate about you, Dre, coming on, that was a very tough conversation. Also on that conversation was my brother. And we talked about some things that was like, some of that was cold about men this and men that and how men treat women, and y'all took it like champs and was like, you know what, I could respect that and I could see that, and we talked about it. It was just a really, really, really straight impactful conversation. We did a part 1 and part 2 because there was so much ground to cover on that. So I think that hearing you say it was a safe space, I feel like we accomplished something really big with that. because most men don't feel like they have that space with us. So thank you for sharing that and for saying that. And that just feels good to the soul to know that y'all don't feel attacked coming on here. I don't know how Russia feel. Russia, you feel because you just been making all these spaces. Are you safe amongst us today here, Russia?
Yeah, you only attack me on the phone.
He don't never shoot.
I don't know how I've gotten to this place with this person. I don't even understand.
It was the show. It was all from the show. So clearly, if y'all haven't seen the show and y'all gonna watch the show before the 4th, y'all know that is going to bring forth some conversation. Clearly, okay.
Be prepared.
Be prepared.
Be prepared. Because me and Russia ain't been the same since this show. Since I told him to watch it 2 weeks ago, we can't even have a normal conversation. Like I call to just be like, "What's up?" And then something to happen, he'll just yell out, "Be like, I can't stand her," and I'll be like, "Who? What's going on?"
The woman from the show. The show then gave him a slight case of Tourette's. And I'm
just like.
He triggered,
What's going on, Rush? Like, why now? Why can't you stand it? Man, I've been thinking about this show. I'm like, it's been 2 weeks.
I have told everybody that I know to watch that show.
So everybody. Tell them to be here on the 4th so they can hop into this conversation.
I have my mama watching.
Oh, wow.
It's a really deep show. It's a very, very deep show.
What's it called again? You said Sex Life?
It's on Netflix. Sex Life on Netflix. It's a very deep show. The undertones and the messages in there are deep.
I'm about to go ahead and put this in my queue.
Go ahead and put it on
y'all know what show I really enjoyed? I really enjoyed talking to the men folks about what they need.
Yeah.
I was trying to say that.
When she asked you what you wanted and you said them looking crazy.
I couldn't think about it at the moment.
Okay,
I'm surprised he's never showed up on my queue. Huh.
Russia, what you said it's not showing up on your queue?
No, I'm surprised. I pulled it up and I'm saying I'm surprised it never showed up, in my queue to watch. So now I gotta check it out. Okay.
It's a dope show.
It says, so basically this says a woman's
Gotta read it.
Collides with her married with kids present when the bad boy ex she can't stop fantasizing about crack. This is real life. This shit happens down the street probably.
You ain't down the street probably.
Now that's just the blurb.
So we gonna talk about it on the 4th.
It gets real. So
8 episodes. Okay, cool. Bet.
Yes, and Robin should be quiet because the show gets like some real life stuff happened that goes down in that show. It leads to a lot of discussions, and every single person I've had watch this show, I have had to have conversations with. I've had to be mediator. I've had friends call like I got into an argument because of so and so. It's like, oh Lord, like it's a show. He like zip it up. So it is a very dope show in the sense of it really raises some things that we don't talk about.
It's a conversation starter.
It's a conversation starter. So definitely. But Russia was saying he really enjoyed the show talking about what men need. Can you expound on that, Russia? You have the floor. We're gonna all be quiet because I learned today that Russia thinks that you have to be very silent or you're interrupting him. So please try not to breathe very loud or anything.
Don't do that. This has been all day. You know what? This has been for the past 2 weeks. Ever since we watched that show, now we can't even have a civilized conversation.
It's true. It goes left every week.
We've been arguing.
It goes left for 2 weeks.
I want to talk about the What Men Need show because I want to talk about it. So I'm gonna let you talk so I can jump in because I really like that show.
Go ahead, Russell. What was so impactful for you about that particular show?
Just feeling heard. I saw a post on the Shade Room yesterday where it was like a list of things, like black men cry too, and black men want this. Sometimes we want to be the little spoon. Sometimes, stuff like that. And then you go through the comments, and it was just a bunch of women like, y'all some bitches, you know. I was like, this is why men don't say things,
I hate
you
it.
know. We got a long way to go. So
We do.
I
I appreciate this platform and that show in
mean,
particular because there was no bashing, you know.
It just makes me super sad. You know, I do acknowledge as a woman, we as women, especially as Black women, we feel so incredibly broken. We feel so incredibly unheard, uncared for, unloved properly, and frustrated. And a lot of that trauma didn't even happen to us, it happened to our mothers. And so we went into our interactions with men already geared up to be treated or mistreated a particular way. And then some of us come across because you're gonna have a couple of frogs in there that you know you're gonna date, and they absolutely are going to reinforce that. I think it's just so hard to give grace because the guard is up. But when we have genuine men out here that are trying to be better men, that are trying to be expressive and emotionally intelligent, I think because a lot of people don't know the word emotional intelligence and what that looks like. Um, Women just harp on men about that, and then also get upset when he doesn't empathize or sympathize with you, when he isn't being affectionate, when he isn't being expressive, when he's shut down and he's not present. You can't have it both ways. You just can't. And that makes me sad because there are some men that really need to be heard on that, that's read those comments, Russia, and now they're never going to say that stuff aloud to their woman. And
No, a
they're
lot of men said that they were like, "This is why we don't say nothing."
mm, mm.
it
And that's
makes
just
me upset.
it does.
It makes me upset because how dare you? How dare you? And if you're a woman that feels that way and you're in the on the live, your opinion matters to you. That's about it. How dare you? In my personal opinion, we are
Yeah.
creating the
I,
problem. We are creating and perpetuating the issues when we are allowing men to be belittled. Because I check a sister in a heartbeat. I will check a woman so fast. You can't say certain things in my presence. I will check you. Know that you will be checked. So if you're ever around me and you think about saying some stuff like that, know that you will be checked. And it's not just because I'm not a confrontational person, but I can't allow a beautiful brown man to be expressive and to be a human being and to be belittled because of it. How dare you? How dare you? And that's one of the biggest problems with society today is not only having men being treated this way, but we have women being treated this way where we're not allowed to feel our feelings. So if nobody's feeling their feelings, who's feeling anything?
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
feeling anything? Where is the love coming from? Where is the appreciation coming from? Where is life coming from? If we all just walking around here angry with bottled up emotions, we in a sad state. I was at the grocery store in New Orleans, and it was an older woman and an older man. It was 4 children, various of age. It was 1 little girl, 3 little boys. And the little girl, the woman started yelling at them for being kids. And they weren't even being bad kids, like throwing stuff, running around. They were just touching stuff and kind of moving around. And she was yelling at them. And I couldn't understand why. I'm like, they kids. They're going to do that. They got energy. And then the little girl starts to cry. And she's like, why are you crying? And she yelling at her in the middle of this grocery store, in the checkout aisle. Why are you crying? And she gets in her face. Why are you crying? You need to stop crying. And then the perpetuation of that had already began because the oldest, well, after that conversation had passed, the little girl her feelings was hurt, which was why she was crying. She was still in her feelings, so she was still crying. Softly, she wasn't like loud, irate crying, but softly crying. And a while later, the oldest boy walks over to her and says the same thing. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? Why are we doing this to each other? Why are we perpetuating this nonsense? It has to stop somewhere. If we can't let that man feel that he's not a man, he's not a human being, he's not a person. If we can't let that woman feel, then she's a person. She's not a woman. She's not a human being. We have to allow ourselves to feel, because that's where the love comes from. That's where kindness and empathy and compassion comes from. And that's the reason why we're here. That's the whole point.
Go ahead, Dre, and then
real quick. There's a video circulating on Facebook. I don't know how old it is or recent, but it's nonverbal. It shows like a boy, well, a man imitating a boy being younger and crying, and somebody saying, "Oh, stop crying, be a man, whatever." Then they show him being older, drawing a picture. And, hey, I drew this picture. Boys don't draw pictures like that. Boys go play in the dirt, once again. And then they show him getting older, and they show the effects of what happens when what you just talked about happens when people stifle your emotional growth as a child, and how it affects you as an adult. Because when you have these conversations where you want to be like, well, why can't you express yourself? Why can't we talk? Why can't we do this? If they don't know, because they never had that experience as children and young adults and kids, how can they express themselves as adults? Because they honestly don't know. They have to be taught, literally have to be taught as an adult. And teaching adults can be hard, because we are very hard-headed and defensive about being taught what we don't technically want to be taught,
And the opposite has been difficult as well too. Like having to absolutely unlearn everything you've been conditioned to understand all your life, and that you're not supposed to have emotions. Women are told that they're supposed to be strong, grit their teeth and bear it and move on, because that's the role, that's what we do. And Black men are told that it's weak and it's not acceptable for a man to cry or to express emotion. It wasn't the problem they were asking the baby why she was crying. It was the way they were asking her why she was crying.
Right, they didn't
why she was crying was important, but the why she was crying mattered. And that's part of emotional intelligence is, why are you upset? Let's talk about the why you're upset. That was, in fact, something I had to unlearn even as a parent, starting out. When I first became a parent, my patience was like that. And I had to absolutely understand the connection between patience and emotional intelligence. It did take me a little bit of time to really understand that and to gather that. And now it's like, okay, why are you upset? Not why you upset, like as if you don't have a reason to be upset or you shouldn't deserve to be upset. But why are you upset? Let's express that. I make them say the emotion that they're feeling and identify where it's coming from. That is the root of behavior. When we understand why we feel what we're feeling, it helps us to also understand why we do what we do when we're feeling that way, which is important when we're talking about a lot of things that's happening in the world. A lot of that is because people have been completely desensitized. They've been told to not have feelings, to not have care, to not have regard. So it's no wonder that they don't have any of those things. And they're running around offing people the way that they are and hurting people the way that they do. And so it really does matter on allowing people the space to feel what they feel, but truly asking to understand and not to respond or judge the why they're doing things. I have a whole kid that almost took himself out in the kitchen because he needed the ketchup on the top.
I'm like, I checked my house.
Ketchup, okay? He needed that.
That almost took you clean out, son. Are you good? Did you hurt something? Okay, that scared you, huh? I think he just took up there because, I mean, it almost took him all the way out. You know, broke a mug. Did you break my mug? It's okay. You all right? Yes. So the ketchup almost made me one kid less. Lord, I'm glad he all right.
Not from the ketchup. Blessings for the ketchup.
I know y'all heard that. That was all.
I heard it. It was hurt. It was hurt. I'm glad he okay.
I came across one of the comments on that post. I wanted to read it to you. Okay, they said, okay, but let's not act like men didn't create a harsh environment for themselves. We only play hard to get because once we give them what they want, they act like they have no sense. A lot of the times telling us the truth is just gaslighting. And all in all, we can reciprocate the energy that we ask for, but they will still cheat. The only reason why we don't treat y'all like this is because y'all act like y'all don't want it. As a collective, y'all need to start acting like y'all want this instead of being prideful and emotionally detached. And maybe we can have this conversation, but right now I ain't trying to hear it. Y'all don't get to treat us terribly, then complain about how y'all don't get affection. Sorry, not sorry.
But see that she
Now,
coming from a
now
hurt
wait a
place.
minute, wait a minute. Let me tell you what the post said, right? It says, number one, just because I'm not talking doesn't mean I'm not enjoying my time with you. Number two, we actually really want to be complimented too. A 60-year-old woman complimented me 5 years ago, and it still makes me feel good, which just shows how little we get compliments.
I saw that. I saw that.
And number three, it's hard to get over you after a breakup. We don't really have emotional support systems in place to rely on. And a lot of men have small social circles, so losing someone means a lot to us. Number four, we aren't great with hints. Communication is key. I felt that one because, bruh, I be missing. I mean, like, man.
Yeah.
Says when we I really like to hang out with my friends because I love them, not because I don't want to spend time with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes
Drake out there.
I ain't gonna say
You
that one.
felt that.
Uh,
No, say it
No,
all.
say it. No, say it. No, say it all. Say it all.
Right. This is a safe space.
It's a safe space.
uh, this one says when we tell women that we don't know how we feel about something is usually true, and we genuinely don't understand how we are supposed to feel. I personally wasn't allowed to express emotions growing up, and it turned into me not being able to understand my emotions. But that wasn't the one I wasn't gonna read. It was this one. It says, sometimes men just don't get hard. It's not you, it's many things from lifestyle and diet to stress and anxiety. Please try not to take it as a sign of lack of attraction or affection. Sometimes it just happens.
That's real.
Men
Those
have
are all
emotions.
good points.
Men have emotions, and there are points where we need to cry. Tears happen not just from pain, but also joy. It's okay to make the first move. Guys can be shy too. Come talk to me instead of staring at me. We like random gifts, random hugs, and random signs of affections and love. Sometimes just a cup of coffee and my favorite mug is enough to convince me it's going to be a good day. We don't know where we want to eat either. A boner doesn't always mean I'm horny. Sometimes it just pops up out of nowhere. When we say we're thinking about nothing, the majority of the time we really are thinking of nothing. Or maybe we are thinking of ridiculous made up scenarios that sound stupid when said out loud. Men love being the target of a romantic gesture. Many men never have been. Please ask us out. It makes us feel wanted and loved. Playing hard to get does not work at all. We get angry, we get depressed, we get sad, we want to cry and be held at times too. Being told by one of my exes that real men don't cry when I was at a really low point only further pushed me down that dark hole. Please don't do that. That shit hurts and sticks with us. If you don't want to hear the truth about something, don't ask me to tell you the truth because I'm going to tell you the truth. Sometimes men just need alone time. We can be uncomfortable with unwarranted physical contact as well. Tell us more about what you like in bed. We don't really care about makeup and just
Maybe he
want
wrote
you,
a thesis, yeah.
No, it's good stuff.
yeah, healthy and happy. Any guy who wouldn't be attracted to you without your makeup on is a shitty person. Our feelings get hurt, but we were trained to suck it up and deal with it. Because of that, we have a tendency to be really bad at communicating our feelings. Just because I joke about my emotions doesn't mean I don't want them to be taken seriously. And finally, sometimes we want to be the little spoon. And I saw a woman on here say, she was like, y'all never gonna be no little spoon with me, so next.
And if that's your
And
thing,
here's the
come on,
thing.
do it.
Here's the thing. That's a broken woman. And she does not represent me. I love all the time. I be like, come here and and lay your hair right here, and I'm gonna stroke your hair and hold you. Sometimes in the middle of the night, I roll over and I'm hugging on to him for dear life. Not that I'm scared, but just because I want to hold him in that moment. That's a broken woman who also has been told that toxic masculinity is masculinity. And so she doesn't know how to deal with a man that can still be masculine, but also be emotionally intelligent.
A
Um,
person can
a
be a
person.
person. Everybody hurts. Everybody needs to be comforted. Everybody needs to feel. Everybody needs to be listened to. Everybody needs these things. I want to be with a person. I don't want to be with an ideal that basically, y'all know me, the white man made up. I don't want it. I don't want it. I
But
want
here's
a
the
person.
thing.
I want a human being.
But here is the thing. Even with
And I
that,
like snuggling.
here's the thing, though.
I
Even
like
with
it. I
that,
like to be held.
one of the
Right.
conversations that Russia and I had some time ago, it
Was
may
that
have
before or
come.
after you started harassing?
Look, I was about to see. Look,
It was. I'm
it
pretty sure
may
it was
have
cool because
come
y'all can't
either
have no
before
conversation anymore.
or after we start. It may have actually been in connection to us talking about the show on the time when we were not fighting each other profusely. Like we've been in combat about this show for 2 weeks. But we did talk about how that's a standard that you don't even see in other cultures, in white culture, where there are a lot of things that men do, that white men do for their families, that if you saw a black man doing that, it would be like, oh, black men don't do that. Like that's the role of the woman. I believe we had that conversation, Russia, like when we were talking about being up north, and you can go, like, I live out here in the suburbs. I can go to the grocery store, and the dad be in the grocery store doing the grocery shopping with all the kids in tow, and he be doing some of the things. Sometimes he driving the carpool to drop off kids here, there, and everywhere. So it's a stigma that we have allowed to weaponize it. We weaponize it against our own. Like, men can do those things. It doesn't make them less men. At one point,
And should.
at one point it wasn't, men was not expected to cook. And then there was a whole campaign about what real men cook. Real men can't cook. It doesn't mean that you can't be a man, and it doesn't make you any less masculine because you know your way around the kitchen and you like to cook. So I think that we need to listen. Brownie
alkaline
points.
brownies. Okay.
Look, she said alkaline brownie points. But it is absolutely something we need to tear down and stop putting that pressure on our men and allowing them to sit in and be in their humanity, and understanding that does not take away from their masculinity. I'm so
And that's
tired
from
of
other
hearing
men and women, because other men holds and perpetuates the BS, but then women do it too. And it's like, can we stop? Can we all just be human? Can we all just be
Can
human?
we all just
It's
be
like
human?
society has created these norms or these standards that we swear by now, like just Bible, these society norms and standards. Skip all of that. Get it how you live. Live how you want to live. Love who you want to love, and do it the way that works best for the both of y'all. Like, it doesn't have to be these constructs. If he cook and you clean, cool. If you cook and he clean, cool. If he dropping the kids off at work and you like it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it works for you and your person. But we make up these mental blocks for what somebody has to do, or what's male or what's female. Can we not? Because we didn't like.
I really want us to not, because can nobody tell me how to be me? Whether that's the feminine aspect of me, the wife aspect of me, the mother aspect of me, like, you can't set that for me. I know what works for my family, for my lifestyle, and for me as a person. And trying to fit into this idea of what I should be, that's a part of the reason why we're broken, because it's an impossible task.
Absolutely.
It's not meant for us to meet that standard. We all need to rejoice in the uniqueness that we have, and the things that make us, and respect each other for that too, and not tear each other down. But also, something we were talking about earlier, Russia and I, when we weren't arguing, is that it's always going to be that there has to be oppression. The oppressed is going to start oppressing others because it's how they feel better about themselves. Oppression is a very powerful tool, because
we have not argued in 2 weeks.
We have not argued in 2 weeks,
and we've been arguing about everything.
I'm so sick of him.
But the thing
Everything.
is
Sex
like
life, bisexuality.
I'm not gonna play with y'all in this show and this argument.
Everything.
Clearly, I'm changing the subject. Dre.
But
No.
we argued on not even just that. We argued about bisexuality, and we've argued about oppression. We've argued about so much stuff in these past 2 weeks. But I think it's all been because he's really mad that I hadn't watched this show. I think that's what it really all stems from.
He triggered.
No. No.
But I think the best thing we can do as like a people, black people, blue people, purple people, green people, as human beings again, is to erase all of these social norms. Because literally they're the foundation of most issues that we have. And that's because most of it is not rooted in love and self-awareness and appreciation of differences, which every single person on this planet is different. It's
reality. It's not rooted in reality.
Absolutely not. So it's like none of it makes sense. And we swear by these things so much so that we put them in place in our minds, in our hearts, and in our lives that impedes us from really living a full life and accepting people for who they are. Because that man shouldn't have to put all of that stuff on there and get bashed because of how he feels. And people should feel like that is why we're here. We're here to feel and experience and love and live. If everybody just did that and was like, whatever I do, I'm not gonna hurt nobody else doing it, the world will be a better place.
Hey,
live
Natalie.
your life however you choose to live it. If you're not hurting nobody else and you're happy and whoever you with is happy, then y'all happy. It don't matter. But
Rush,
we need to love, we need to feel, and we need to feel. Everybody.
Natalie,
What's up?
have you ever went up to a man and asked him out?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hold on. What was the question? I didn't hear that. No, I'm serious. It was low.
And if we have women viewers still on here, we want you to put an answer in the box. Have you asked a man out on a date?
Dre, has a woman ever asked you out? A woman that you didn't know just came up to you.
Oh, that I didn't know? Like
that you didn't know, like you out at a bar or something like that. You walking around. I don't know.
Oh, heavens no, no.
Heavens no.
I have not in a stranger capacity. No. I've had people like slide in my DM and be like, "Hey, let's hang out." But well, I guess so. Yeah, somebody not in real life.
They ask out.
Yeah, they slide in my DM and say, "Hey, you know what I'm saying? Let's hang out, let's meet or whatever, or let's talk." And then from there, I think I pressed the issue of meeting, or they did once, but it's so mixed, you know, about that. No. But I can't recall anybody actually being that forward.
No. DMs count.
Yes.
No. You ever asked a man out that you didn't know?
You say me or Sante? Who you asked? Me?
You.
What's
that
up?
You didn't know. You.
It can't be Tay. She married.
Well, I did date
pre-marriage.
I know.
That's another life. That's another life. You didn't do none of that stuff back then. We know that.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Russia got a lesson this week. The last couple of weeks, he got a lesson that he really didn't have figured out. He thought he had.
Y'all don't know my
life. Wait. I got another question. Wait, Natalie, answer that. But then
so a man that I did not know, have I ever just walked up to a man and say, "Hey, let's go out"? No. You know what? The closest thing to that was way back in the day. It was elementary school.
That don't. Oh my God.
That don't count. Because it was funny. It was funny. Listen, real quick. It's a short story. It was funny. I said no. The answer was no, but this was funny. So it was a guy, and I want to channel that young Natalie energy back. You know, as an adult. It was a young man. He was really attractive to me, and I was peeping in the scene. It was in summer school, peeping in the scene the whole time, right? And so one day I was like, "Yeah, I'm done with this." And I walked up and I'm like, "Hey, basically, y'all ever seen that video? I like you and I want you. Y'all ever seen that video? Dre, you seen it?
That does not count."
That was basically my energy. No, and what was even worse at the time was he had a girlfriend, and he told me he had a girlfriend, and this was my energy. I want this energy back, though. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, okay, so you want her or you want me? And he chose me. I'm not gonna say I took this man or young man, but that's what happened.
Lucy.
But that's what happened. Okay. But that energy, it was that confidence for me.
No, you can't go around breaking up relationships, Nat. That's not.
If it ain't working, no, I'm joking. I don't want to break up people's relationships. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that confidence, you know.
Okay. What's your second question, Russia?
I got a few questions.
Okay, Lord, hit us with them.
Why do y'all think women don't ask men out?
Because they feel like that's the male's role. That a man they want to be pursued by the male. They feel like the man should take initiative, and a lot of women look for that as a telltale sign on what type of man they will be in a relationship. I think that women become more likely to ask that after they've initially been asked. So they may say, once they've gone out with you after you've initiated, they may say, hey, well, I enjoy, being with you. Let's go out again. Or when are you available to go out again? But most women operate under the idea that it should be the man should make the move. And women are afraid of rejection too. Women also don't want to be asked out on a or agreed to go out on a date because now you thinking about taking her down and that's it. So it's like really just again, that's a catch-22. It's like,
and there's also some men who don't want a woman that's that forward. They are turned off or don't like being approached by women.
Some men gonna look at that as being she's thirsty or desperate,
or too aggressive.
So that I can't speak for all women. I'm not the delegated spokesperson for Black women across America. I haven't been,
into that position.
The women that slid in your DM, did you see them as thirsty?
As what now?
Thirsty.
As parched.
No, never. And that's the thing. Like that's a good question actually, because you can be perceived. Men can be perceived as being thirsty for doing something like that. But if a woman does that and that was actually a question in a group, and I was like, somebody did that. I don't consider that thirsty. I just consider that flattering. Like, because I mean they're not like sending me like obscene pictures or nothing like that. They just saying hi or what's up or compliments, all that other stuff. And I was like, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, thank you. I'm flattered. I'm flattered. I don't never once I thought that anybody was thirsty approaching me. Like, that's just too much of a big head ego.
But have you been accused of being thirsty when you approached a woman?
I was just going to say, how many screenshots have you seen of a man up on Facebook somewhere and they're like, he thirsty or he a creep?
Now, because of that, I choose my words very carefully because of that. Screenshots exist, and I have learned the subtle art of writing very well to avoid any kind of mishap. So if I do see myself screenshot, it's like, okay, you either took that out of context or you're like not saying the whole story. So, but luckily that hasn't happened to me yet. As far as the original question about me being thirsty, I don't think, you know what? I don't think I've been called thirsty from them, but I don't want to be perceived as thirsty. But it's hard because there's I'm trying to think of somebody now that I'm like talking to in the inbox, and certain things I might say, I don't want to be perceived as thirsty. So, but you throw out the little heart, you throw out little stuff and everything. You look nice, you look good, whatever case may be. I mean, that's a compliment. If you consider thirsty for giving a compliment, then okay. I don't believe in that, but there is some difference between a compliment and then, oh my God, Queen, Sister, Mother Earth, you are just, the rain and all that good shit. I hate that. If I see stuff like that, like, that's to me, that's thirst, and that's corny. And I'm corny, but that's corny as hell. I'm never gonna hit you up and be like, oh, Natalie, Queen, Mother Earth, oh, you the queen of everything, and you got on like, some sweatpants and a shirt, like you look nice, but you ain't. You know what I'm saying? It's like the grandiose of it. It's like dial it down. Dial it down. That's not how you gonna get her attention. You got to be,
That-
you know,
And
Yeah,
it
you
seems
know what?
rehearsed, right? It
I
seems
don't.
scripted.
copy and paste all day.
But how
I've
many
seen copy
times
and
you put
paste
this out?
inboxes. I've seen copy and paste inboxes where somebody back in the day, this haven't happened recently, but back in the day, my friends used to show me pictures of inbox conversations of people trying to talk to them. And I'm like, yeah, this dude is literally just copy and paste and he goes into people's
And
inboxes,
change the
hook bites.
name.
You know, now you change your name. It's hey, Sister Queen. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Hey, Sister Queen, you look good and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, that's copy and paste. He gonna go into every inbox he sees and put that in
And
there as
see
an
who
opening
go
line. And
respond.
if you bite, he gonna follow up with some other stuff. So
Well, that's also very predatory behavior, whether people realize it or not, because the whole goal is to find that one person where that small gesture is going to feel like a big grand thing, and they're going to eat that up. And so they're looking for the person that little bit is enough. And then they're going to usually take that, run with it, and drag that person because it is very rehearsed. Um, I honestly, I hate hearing that. Like, I could be walking down the street, hey queen, don't start. Like,
There's a lot of women that
don't
do that
start,
though.
don't start with me today. But I'm just saying, you're a beautiful queen. Thanks, but don't start. I know
I
where we're
just say
going.
thank you. I just want to thank
But
you and
a
keep it
lot of
right on
women do that
moving.
though.
Thank you
A lot
so
of women
much.
say that now.
Appreciate you.
You said what,
Hey.
Russia?
A lot of women say that now though.
Well,
They
like,
do
hey,
say hey king because and I love that we're becoming very aware of who we are, but it does feel very scripted at a point. It doesn't feel genuine. And not everybody identifies as that. And so you also want to be understanding of that. Like, sometimes a man just wants to hear hello, how you doing? I think a lot of men just want to the other day I was coming out of a door and I held the door because I saw a man coming and I didn't feel like I don't feel like it's nice just because I'm a woman. If I'm coming out, he's right there to just let the door close. Like, it was like, no, and he was like, wow, thank you. He said, really? He was like, wow. And I was like, you're welcome.
my line is that's my job. That's my line. I'll say no. I'll say thank you. That's my job though. I'll say that. That's my
He
little.
was just, because it was apparent to me that most women, I mean, if I'm coming out and you right there at the door, like how, I just feel like it puts me in mind to, I don't know who have seen A Bronx Tale. Dre probably seen A Bronx Tale. I know that Nat and Rush are still kind of young, but on A Bronx Tale, it's a part where it's the door test and you supposed to reach over and unlock the door back in the day, and men look for that if they open the door for you and let you in, you don't reach over and unlock the door for them. That was the door test. So
now I've done that and I've seen men's reaction.
A woman did that.
And it's always
a woman did that. And I was just like, all right. Like,
what did she do?
She
leaned over and opened the door.
She got in, she leaned over and opened the door for me, and I was just like,
that's endearing. Okay, if somebody attempts to do that, I know a few people to this day they're not even, I'm not even dating them, but they're like friends. But the fact that they even do that, I was like, oh, does she like me? It makes you feel good. Like, oh my God, because it's a rarity. It's like a unicorn. You saw a unicorn? Yeah, I saw a unicorn. Really? What you have on? It's like, that's real.
I mean,
the times that I've done it, I've seen guys' faces and they just be like,
because it really, so I get it. I totally
it's like a guy pulling out a chair for a woman. It's like,
I get it. And that's why I feel that way. If you're right at the door, like, yes, of course the gentleman thing to do would be to open the door. But if I'm coming out and you right there, I'm just gonna really be like, close the door.
That's
like, I can't.
I got another question.
What's your next question?
Okay. Lord, what?
Oh, I'm scared because when he left,
I'm like, what? What is you about to
Do you feel, and Dre, let me know your thoughts too. Is it offensive to say to a woman that she looks like the girl next door?
Oh God.
That's
Oh,
corny.
What does that even mean? What does the girl next door look like?
Exactly,
What does that even
exactly.
mean?
It's
Exactly.
old school. It's old school as hell. It's old school saying. I know what it means.
I
So
mean,
what
I
does it
know what
mean,
it
Dre?
means.
What does
I
it mean,
get
Dre?
it,
What
but
does it
like,
mean
what
to
does it
you?
really mean,
So
though?
when I
Okay,
tell you, Nat, when I tell you I've been arguing with Russia for 2 weeks, this is one of the arguments that we had. This is
so
one
girl,
of them.
that's
I
why
think
he was
it's another
smiling
one.
like that. I
But
was scared
guess
to
why he
question,
was
but it was
smiling
more
like
because he
that?
knew he was gonna mess with you.
He knew he was gonna mess
So the
with me.
girl next door to me, what that means
I wasn't gonna tell
that,
folks it
you're
was about
sweet,
me.
you're innocent, you're the
Right.
girl next door. What if I live next to a ratchet girl? You don't know my story. Listen, you know who live next door. But I get the terminology. But what does that mean? Like, what is your purpose of saying that? What does that mean? Just tell me I'm sweet if you think I'm sweet. Just
That's
tell me
not
I'm
what it's
kind.
meant to say.
if
It's
you
meant
think
to
I'm
mean
kind.
that Russia, please explain to our
Right. I mean,
No,
I've
wait.
never been
No,
called
wait.
the
to
girl
No,
next
wait.
door.
everyone.
I don't believe.
I get called the girl next
No,
door
wait.
all the
No,
time.
wait. No,
And
wait.
Russia said that about me. And he
But
was
I
like,
get that people would feel that way about me. But I would be like, just tell me what those characteristics are.
Wait a
what
minute.
does that mean? And when I asked him, like, what does it mean? And he said it, I was like, what the hell? Like, you got that from talking to me? Like, what?
What is the girl next door, Rush?
Go ahead, Rush, explain it to everyone else how you explained it to me so that they can understand why a woman may feel some sort of way about that. Because it's almost like the
look, because this
when a
sounds
man
To me,
bad.
it seems kind of fetishized.
It
Like
sounds
people
bad.
have
No,
different
Hold on like that.
fetishes.
No.
It
No,
sounds
And
bad.
when you
Wait,
say
wait,
girl next door,
wait.
everybody kind of
Russia,
want
go
to
ahead.
get like bang
wait,
their
wait.
next
I
door.
want to hear what Dre got to say about it. Before I say-
What for the girl next door?
Yeah.
What does that mean, Dre?
I mean, basically, like you said, like girl next door has like a certain image that you like, and that's like I would say sweet, but at the end of the day, you know, girl next door could be sweet, but behind closed doors, she could be something else. You know what I mean? In general, girl next door it could be seen as a compliment, but if somebody knows the history, they might be like, "What does that mean?" and whatever. You know, I see what you're getting at, but it's flirtatious. You know, it's flirtatious. You know,
That
nothing
is not
harmless.
how we take that. We take girl next door as the same way that men take, oh, I don't look at you like that. You're just a friend. Like
Really?
when get
Now the
friends
guys
on-
wanted to bang the girl next door.
no,
Right.
no,
Yeah,
they
that's a
don't.
yes.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
So I matched with this chick on Tinder, and I was drinking a little bit, and you know, I was in a mood. I was in a mood, you know what I'm saying? I was sipping, and I don't know how we got on this conversation, but she's like, "Do you find me attractive?" And I was like,
Thank you, Robert.
I was
Sorry, go
like,
ahead.
I was like, you like the girl next door. You know what I'm saying? And that didn't mean at the time, that didn't mean that I didn't find her attractive. It was just like I was in more of a mood for like a pinky type chick or something. I don't know. Like,
Oh, the ratchets.
And who's to say that woman couldn't be that?
I mean,
But see,
further
this
on
is
in
the
the conversation,
thing
I
too.
That is the issue with what we are talking about earlier with sexuality and the patriarchal stereotype that that women fit this, you know, this is what wholesome look like. Like we're not a monolith. We can be.
But this is what what they say. They want a
wait a minute.
street,
That didn't mean that I did not want to
a
engage
queen
in
in
that
the
with her. I
like
just
streets, like.
wasn't thinking that much about it.
But you just
gotta
said
think.
yourself that you classify her as the girl next door, and you didn't see
was
her
really
as being.
innocent.
But just because she seemed innocent, don't mean she wouldn't throw that ass back. Okay.
Listen. I don't got no tambourine. I need something. Let me get this balloon back
Okay.
Thank you.
Shake the balloons.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to explain to you.
You don't know her story.
You don't know her story, and you don't want to be put in this box. Like,
don't miss out on your blessing.
Listen, we are not one thing. We are many things. And that's because I'm not many things at one time, and there's a time and a place, which is what you really want. You want someone that understands the purpose of time and place and time and space. So I am many things. I'm just not all those things at one time or in one space. Some a
And
woman
many
up to
things
be
for the right
distinguished.
people also.
Say it again. Say it again.
Okay,
I don't got
for
no
the people
tambourine.
in the back, for the right people. Because
Yes.
you see that pinky type you was looking for. Everybody knows she out here for the streets. Okay, she may not be sleeping with everybody, but everybody know what that's about. You feel me?
Yeah.
Now the sweet innocent girl that you talking about you pondering about. Now, like I said, she might be throwing it back, but for the right person.
Yeah.
It might change your whole life, okay? But it's like I'm gonna look a certain way in the office. A certain people, if they go to church, they're gonna look a certain way in the sanctuary. They're gonna look a certain way at the grocery store. They're gonna move a certain way at home, and they're gonna move a certain way when them kids go to sleep. You hear me talking to you? And that should be, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying, what a man should be looking for.
But also, just as important is men all the time talk about being friend zoned, right? When you say a girl is the girl next door, that's essentially what you're saying is that she's friend material, or
Nah.
you want to
That's
settle
not
down.
how I meant it.
No,
That's
no,
not
no. I've
When
never.
you ready to
No.
settle down, you
No.
ain't gonna have no fun with her. She not gonna
Oh,
be
no,
there.
no.
That's not how I meant it.
Wait.
That's not how I meant
Oh,
it.
wait.
Okay. Sometimes wait.
What I did?
That's not how I
What
meant it.
happened? What had happened?
That's not how I meant it.
Wait.
I would not have met.
This is the exact thing that Russia is triggered about from the show, about how the good guy always get played for the F boy or the bad boy. That's the same thing that we're talking about in reverse with women right now. The good girl or the girl next door get played for the one that look a little out you. You know what I'm saying? Is that not the same?
How often does that happen?
Oh, look
And
at his face. Oh,
you
you silent
better
now.
aspire to have a woman
She
that-
asking me or
that's
you?
not. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know who she's talking to.
I'm gonna be quiet.
I'm
She
saying,
was
is that
asking-
not the same exact conversation? Because you big mad about this show because you like the good guy finishes last and the girls always want the F boys. But is that not what just happened when you packed the old girl for the most part, saying that she looked too sweet and innocent and you wanted a pinky type? Is not that the same exact scenario?
No, I said I was in the mood for a pinky type, not that I wanted one forever.
I'm going to sleep. Good night.
I still would have. It just was like
Dre, does that sound like the same scenario in reverse?
What's that now?
So the scenario for the show is that Russia is big mad about is that women always choose the F boy or want the bad guy and packs the good guy, right? The secure guy.
They
Now
do.
his scenario was just that the girl next door, which was in theory the good girl or the stable girl, he didn't want because he wanted the pinky type, which would be the F girl. Okay. Is that not the same scenario?
I told her, boy.
I don't know. I gotta see the show to see how what connection she has with this fuckboy, alleged
No,
fuckboy.
not even just the show in particular, just that rationale that a lot of people say the girls always choose the F boy over the stable guy, or you like we said, like
well, yeah, I mean, because they want that. Because I would say so. Because in essence, I mean, it's kind of like that whole situation with that whole debate between Future and Russell Wilson. Like they call Russell Wilson a cornball, but he's out here loving on Sierra, loving on the kids, and every like that. But what makes him necessarily a cornball though? That's the argument. What makes him a cornball? To this day, I can't. No one's really showed me or told me why he's a cornball. Because he's nice. Because he's like not quote unquote hardcore. He doesn't cuss. He doesn't do certain things in public. What makes him a cornball? Like to
What
you
makes
all?
him
Also,
a cornball
All
is
the
that
things that make
most
him an asset
women,
makes him a cornball.
most
To people who's not an
women
asset.
that say that about Future and Russell Wilson have an affinity for bad boys, but they
okay.
don't understand that they want the bad boy to do the things that Russell Wilson does.
Come
But
on.
I'm saying,
The
but
same
okay,
thing they
so
call him a
but
cornball.
And they
but
want, hold on, I
but
want to finish. Let me
okay.
finish. Hold on, let me finish, Kanye. They want Future to do the things for them that Russell Wilson does for Sierra. But what they don't understand,
With a hood swag.
which this show will bring up and show, is you can't have that duality in that person, that in those men, because I've heard women say, well, that Future has swag. It's like, what the hell does that mean? What is the swag? They like that he feels arrogant, because it's not even confidence, it's arrogance. He's an asshole.
Arrogant. Yeah,
He's an arrogant asshole. And I'm choking. I need some water.
Mm-hmm.
Say your thought.
You finna say some BS. That's why.
I bet you finna say some BS. Listen, man, my thing is that with the Future and the cornball and all of the, okay, women have to understand. You have to have, as Miss Sante always says, your boundaries. And when you're looking at your boundaries and what they are, what are you willing to maneuver on and what are you not willing to maneuver on? It's confidence. I was just talking about confidence. Confidence is sexy. Absolutely. Absolutely, positively. I think we can all across the board, men, women in general, say that confidence is sexy. But there is also things that come along a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of times with men or women that's overly confident to a point of narcissism where they have other characteristics that are a part of my non-negotiables that I'm not okay with. And you have to pick and choose. You're a good, sharp dresser. Okay, but I'm not going to tolerate you cheating on me just because you dress good. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to weigh those things out. And I think that's where having those non-negotiables really play out, and not just trying to build a bear, a magic man that don't exist.
One of the things that I've had debates with is that when I hear women, Black women especially, say that they like Future types and stuff, they say, well, it looks like he can protect me. And I'll be like, huh?
But that's bullshit though. I mean,
that is exactly what that is.
Like, he needs to protect you from him. Who is he protecting you from?
Right.
Like, who is he supposed to be protecting you from? And they look at Russell Wilson as
like, he gonna run from a fight type situation.
Like,
his bodyguard had that.
Listen, or he wouldn't be able to fight.
Don't judge that man.
Protect me. But hell, you need to protect you from Future. Future's around here breaking women down, breaking them down. He's completely corrupting their spirits. You need protection from him. I don't understand. How's he going? See, look at the producer.
Come on here. You better produce.
Listen,
okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Happy 1 year.
Yes. Come on, Clint.
Yes.
Yes.
You see, Mr.
Come on, Clint.
He don't
my coconut water. Okay, Clint. Yay.
Here's y'all. Y'all got something to drink. Raise a glass.
This is not a paid advertisement unless they want to.
Listen. Rush, where's your glass? Not your phone, your glass. Is he frozen?
I think he's frozen on that one.
I'm like, this time I think he's
actually frozen this time. I think he's legit frozen.
Right. This time he's frozen.
Hold on. I see Taylor say, correction. He looks like he can protect you. You think he can't protect you? Plenty of dogs out there with big barks and 1 tooth bites. Okay.
That whole time. Just because he look like he can fight don't mean he can.
Little facts. Yes.
But also, you talking about he protecting you? He probably the one that's.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I just want to say congratulations on 1 year. It's been an amazing year. I am so proud of the work that you and Natalie and everybody has been guests and hosts and everything else on the show over the past year. So I just want to congratulate everybody that's been watching, that's been with us from day one, tuning in every week. Even if you can't watch live, you've been tuning in and supporting and loving the show every single week. So I just want to give my thanks to everybody watching and listening whenever you can. And also congratulations to my wife and Natalie on an amazing, amazing, amazing year. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's 10 o'clock. Now I got some business to attend to. So over.
That girl know for to show you thing, okay? Or two.
All right now.
In line.
Gonna learn today. Gonna learn today.
In line. Yes, because we done gotten to it again. But that's what we do it. Oh, we gonna talk.
Wait, sis, before we go, sis, can I say one of my favorite shows?
I thought you did. I didn't even get to say one of my favorite shows.
Well, you can say one of your favorite shows. Well, Rush stole mine, so I gave it to him.
What's one of your favorite
But this one has been on my mind the whole time, but this is the perfect time to say it. One of my favorite shows was the show with you and Robert, and to get to know you guys' love story and go through your journey. That was one of my favorite shows for sure. And that just reminded me of it. Robert, you got any friends or brothers?
Jag.
Don't worry about texting about a letter.
That definitely was one of my favorite shows as well. To talk about that, because we talk about that all the time. We had to actually tell the kids because they had questions about how we met. And because he has my son thinking I like younger men, he couldn't understand how I met his father if I'm older than him, even though it's only a few months to separate us.
I think you like older than him.
He thought I was like older. And I'm like, no, we are literally 7 months apart. Like, that's it. It's 7 months. That's all. But one of my favorite shows was really, really, really talking about how we could be better parents for our kids and letting our kids be who they are. And why that's super important to me is because that is the whole reason that We Gonna Talk came to me in the first place. That's how I got my epiphany that these conversations needed to be had, was all because of me trying to be a better parent and allow my kids to be who they are and really walking in that purpose and doing for them what I feel like I didn't have as spaces. So that was truly one of my favorite shows. And another one of my favorite shows was also having the series. It wasn't even just the show itself, but it was the series when we talked about, relationships and marriage and being single and how all of those things are acceptable and okay. The idea is to be in healthy spaces with whomever you exist with in your life. So I really enjoyed that series when we did our different marriage series too, where it was like from the wife's perspective, from the husband's perspective, from the couple's perspective, and then from the single and happy perspective and what that looks like. And that's okay too. And the emotional intelligence show where we talked about that, because if y'all know me, y'all know how much emotional intelligence matters to me and that we need to. That's really the foundation and breaking generational curses. But that's what I got.
The lack of emotional intelligence is the root of all evil.
The root of everything that continues.
All the problems we have in the world, you can tie back to a lack of emotional maturity and knowledge.
Absolute facts. That is so true. Any closing thoughts before we get up off here and I go clock in for the night shift?
Thank you all for making this connection. Thank you all for doing what you're doing with this platform. It's good seeing some good brothers and sisters that are transparent and everything and cool. It's good to know that you're not alone in your thoughts a lot of times and that you are being heard, and that helps out a lot in different ways we deal with others. So appreciate you all. You all are awesome.
Oh, Dre, no, you are awesome,
Appreciate you,
man.
Dre.
No, thank you for always being willing to come on and be vulnerable and open and transparent, because that's not a very easy thing. So
Yeah.
thank you for always being willing to have the conversation. That's a dope
All
brother.
right.
That's a
And
dope
support.
brother.
Dre is a supporter.
Facts. All
I
facts.
try.
It's there. You're doing it. You're not trying. You're doing it. It's
Executing.
happening. Facts. Mr. Brown. Is he frozen?
No,
he's
it's all
not either.
blinking.
Okay. I'm like, is he frozen again? He's blinking. He's blinking. Okay.
It's
There's
self-frozen again.
Oh, shoot.
Are you computing? Oh, no, we can't hear you.
I muted myself.
Oh.
Okay.
Were you cussing at us?
A
No,
little.
I said
Okay.
I'm looking forward to the 2nd year anniversary,
Oh.
and very interested to see where else this will go. You know, looking forward to seeing some more versatility on here, some more topics, and yeah, some more anniversaries.
That's dope, because
Thanks
it's
for the
bigger than
anniversary.
just the fact that we're here today. There is definitely more to come from We Gonna Talk. Y'all be patient with me. I'm trying to make this happen, because it gets much bigger than just here. I have a lot more that I would like to do and expound on, and I'm hoping to even do some of that stuff that I talked to Nat about when we talking about little short films and addressing certain things. So be looking for more. This is not it. It definitely gets bigger from here. So thanks for that, Rush, for the well wishes and the more is to come. Nat, what you got?
Man, I want to thank everybody because it has been an amazing time on this show. I really look forward to Wednesdays and kicking it with y'all, having these conversations. And y'all know I can talk. I just be talking all the time. So to be able to talk about some things, that really matters with people, that's really, really getting the message in, similar to what Dre said, helping people understand that they're not alone in their thought processes, and helping people to make better decisions and helping ourselves to make better decisions, because that's what we all should be leaning towards every day, becoming a little bit more of our best selves. And so to be a part of that, to be a part of it with you, and to help this dream flourish, I'm really, really glad we met. I'm really glad that I could step in and be a part of this amazing project, and more to come. And thank y'all for rocking with us and watching and sharing, because man, y'all come through. Like the viewers, y'all come
Yes.
through. Like,
Taylor Reese is one of them. She always
yo,
in the
Taylor
comments saying,
comes through. I appreciate you,
Taylor
She's
is definitely also an honorary co-host.
She definitely is honorary for sure. Whether she honorary in the comments or honorary on the screen.
All facts. I just want to piggyback on everything else. Like I said at the start of this evening, I'm so grateful and I'm so humbled and I'm just so excited to make this year. It's been tough at times. Sometimes I was not feeling like I was completing the mission, but it always was someone there to remind me that I was, and I had to keep going. And so to have made it to the year mark was a huge goal, because I had it in my mind. I remember telling that, like, I need to get to that mark. I need to get to the 1 year, because then I know it's real. And, I've made the footprint. So I'm just so proud to still be here, that y'all rock with us, that it's helping. There is so much more conversation to come. So please continue to rock with us. Please continue to be willing to come on and talk with us, because these are real people and real conversations we're trying to have. These aren't just, affecting us. It's affecting all of us as a community. And the goal is for us to heal and to get better. And so I just want to thank y'all so much for being here, being a part of my dream, Nat. It is crazy because I feel like I've known her forever and ever. And it's literally only been like a year.
Right. We soul sisters now. I told you, when you find your tribe, it just aligns. Yeah. It just aligns.
and it's been an amazing year. So also Dre, I've been feeling like I know Dre for all my life.
Same.
Here's the
Just
thing.
same.
Me and Dre got a whole lot of mutual acquaintances and friends, and I don't understand how we have never met each other.
I be like, dang, Dre know them too. He be people be tagging Dre and Paul. I be like, dang, Dre know her too.
I'd be like, wait a minute.
That's why I'm like, Dre is a supporter. He be supporting everybody everywhere all over Chicago.
Dre just was
Listen, Dre is one of the board members of the Healing Academy. Right? This is a supportive man right here.
He is a supportive man. He is amazing. And he said he ain't ready to be out here, but we want y'all all to know that we do still accept applications for Dre. They have to go through our background checks.
Yes, we have
Lord.
Lord. We'll let y'all go on a singular date first, but then after that, it has to be a group date. We have to vet.
Before
we're not giving Dre just to anyone out here in East Creeks. Okay,
it's all facts. It's all facts.
Emotional maturity is number 1 on the list. Okay.
Shoot, we might have to do we gonna talk dating special.
No, we not.
Wait. Okay, so listen. I've actually been working on. I've actually been working on a Melanated America dating show where people.
Oh wow!
It's for real. I've got it down and everything. Where people actually don't pick the people that they go out with, but their friends and family do. So they pick 3 to 4 people to vet the people for them, and then they go on the dates and then pick one.
My friends
I actually have a dating show idea, and I'm gonna say it, and now somebody gonna steal it. But it's my intellectual property first.
Right? you heard it here first. It's
heard it here first. At 10:15 on 7/14/21. You should be able to talk to some people's exes as part of the dating process.
Oh, now that's gonna be murder. Somebody gonna die that night.
Yo, somebody gonna die that night. So let's merge these ideas and let's do them, y'all. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm so serious because
let's do a dating show.
And not just talk to them they have to go they have to verify information, because I feel like in a lot of ways you learn a lot about a person from their exes.
You gotta vet that thing like catfish. You don't know how catfish be searching.
So they have to be they have to be hooked up to a lie detector test, and you would have to ask them questions. To learn about that person before you date them. But that takes away from the ex lying just to kind of mess things up. So that was my idea.
That is crazy.
Anniversary. We gonna get out of here now. Listen, they gonna mute this video. You know we can't be doing that.
Listen, they ain't said nothing yet. That's just a beat.
No, because they gonna be like, listen, this and Facebook been crazy with it too. They gonna have me in Facebook jail. I don't got time to be doing that.
Not Facebook jail.
But it's late. Let's get out of here. Thank y'all for joining us. We'll be back next week, and then a couple more shows before we take a brief break for a little bit and just recruit. But Dre gonna come back on the 4th, and we gonna have this watch and discuss.
I'm gonna go ahead and watch this and get down with it.
Watch it. So if you are available and you want to get in on this conversation, please watch Netflix Sex Life. This show really does bring up a lot of very interesting and important conversations that need to be had. So do your homework and join us for that special discussion for August the 4th, which is a Wednesday, 8 p.m., same time, same back channel. That's where you're going to find us at, okay?
All right.
Join us next week. I will be announcing next week's topic. I'm kind of torn in between 2 topics for next week, but they'll be coming out. Thank y'all for rocking with us for a whole year.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. Good night, y'all.
All right.